Welcome to Echoes of Faith, where stories of hope, resilience, and grace inspire us to find the light in every challenge.
In the next installment of the Echoes of Faith series, The Angel's Call unfolds a tale of hope, guidance, and inner transformation. When a young man finds himself at a crossroads, feeling lost and uncertain, an unexpected encounter with an angelic presence begins to reshape his path. Through gentle whispers and signs from above, he embarks on a journey of self-discovery, uncovering the true purpose he was destined for. This story delves deep into themes of faith, divine intervention, and the power of listening to the quiet call within. Prepare to be uplifted and inspired by a tale that reminds us all that we are never truly alone. Jacob sat on the worn-out stool, his fingers hovering over the piano keys. He stared blankly at the sheet music in front of him, but the notes blurred together, meaningless and empty. It had been months since he'd written anything new. His once promising music career had stalled, leaving him frustrated and defeated. At 28, Jacob felt as if the spark that had once driven him had fizzled out, leaving him wandering in a fog of uncertainty. Music had been his passion for as long as he could remember. As a child, he'd stay up late, crafting melodies in his head, imagining himself playing in front of sold-out crowds. But as he grew older, the reality of making a living from his art was harsher than he expected. His gigs had dwindled, and the few songs he had released barely made a ripple. He had tried everything, different genres, collaborating with others, even changing his style. But nothing clicked. The passion he once felt now seemed like a distant memory. Maybe it's time to give it up, Jacob muttered to himself, his voice filled with resignation. That night, he sat at the piano for hours, hoping inspiration would strike. But nothing came. Exhausted and emotionally drained, he finally gave up and went to bed, the weight of failure pressing down on his chest. As sleep took over, Jacob's mind drifted into a deep, restless slumber. Suddenly, a soft voice pierced the darkness of his dream. "Jacob," the voice called gently, "don't give up. You have a purpose far greater than you know." The voice was unlike anything Jacob had ever heard, calming yet powerful, as if it carried an otherworldly wisdom. He tried to see where the voice was coming from, but everything around him was bathed in a bright, golden light. The light felt warm, comforting, and safe. "Who are you?" Jacob asked, his voice echoing in the vast emptiness of his dream. "I am here to guide you," the voice responded. "Your music is more than just notes and rhythms. It has the power to heal, to inspire, and to bring people together. But you've been focused on the wrong thing." "What do you mean?" Jacob asked, confused. "You've been chasing success for yourself, but your true calling is to touch the lives of others. Trust me. Follow where I lead, and you'll find your purpose." Before Jacob could ask more, the light faded, and he woke up with a start. He sat up in bed, his heart racing, the words of the mysterious voice echoing in his mind. It felt so real, so vivid. For the first time in months, Jacob felt something stir inside him. Hope. The next morning, Jacob couldn't shake the dream from his mind. He replayed the voice's words over and over. It was as if a seed had been planted in his heart, and it was starting to grow. The idea that his music could have a greater purpose beyond fame or recognition stirred something deep within him. But what did it mean? How was he supposed to touch the lives of others? He had no idea where to start. Later that day, Jacob grabbed his guitar and went to a nearby park, hoping the fresh air would clear his mind. He found a quiet bench under a tree and began to strum the strings absent-mindedly. As the music flowed, people walking by started to slow down, listening to the gentle melody. A few even stopped to watch him play. A little girl, no more than 6 years old, tugged on her mother's hand and walked up to Jacob with wide, curious eyes. She smiled shyly before speaking. "That's really pretty," she said. "Can you play more?" Jacob smiled, surprised by her boldness. "Sure," he said softly. He played a simple, soothing tune, something he'd come up with on the spot. The little girl closed her eyes, swaying gently to the rhythm, completely immersed in the moment. Her mother stood nearby, smiling as other passers-by gathered around. As Jacob played, something clicked. He realized that this, right here, right now, was what the voice had meant. His music didn't need to be perfect or popular. It just needed to reach people's hearts. It wasn't about fame. It was about connection. After the song ended, the girl's mother approached Jacob. "Thank you," she said with a soft smile. "My daughter has been struggling with anxiety lately, and it's been hard to calm her down. But your music, it really touched her. It was like it gave her peace." Jacob was taken aback. He hadn't expected his music to have such an immediate impact. "I'm glad I could help," he said, his heart swelling with emotion. "That means more to me than you know." The woman nodded and thanked him again before leaving with her daughter. As Jacob watched them walk away, he felt a warmth spread through him, a confirmation that he was on the right path. Over the next few weeks, Jacob found himself playing more often in the park. It became a daily routine, one that he looked forward to. He wasn't playing for money or recognition, just for the pure joy of sharing his music with whoever would listen. And the response was overwhelming. People stopped to thank him, telling him how his music brightened their day or helped them through a difficult moment. One evening, as the sun was setting and the park was nearly empty, an older man approached Jacob. He wore a weathered coat and had a tired look in his eyes. He sat down on the bench beside Jacob and listened quietly as Jacob played a soft, melancholy tune. After a while, the man spoke. "I lost my wife a few months ago," he said, his voice breaking. "It's been hard, really hard. But your music, it feels like it's helping me heal, little by little." Jacob stopped playing and looked at the man, his heart heavy with empathy. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said. "I can't imagine what you're going through." The man nodded, wiping a tear from his eye. "Thank you for playing," he whispered. "It's been a long time since I've felt peace." As the man walked away, Jacob felt a deep sense of fulfillment. It was in moments like these that he realized the true power of his gift. The voice in his dream had been right. His purpose wasn't to achieve fame or fortune. It was to use his music to bring hope, healing, and connection to others. Months passed, and Jacob's life transformed in ways he never expected. He continued to play in the park, but his music began to reach even further. Videos of his performances went viral, and people from all walks of life reached out to share how his music had impacted them. His audience grew, not because of marketing or promotions, but because of the heartfelt connection he had made with people. One evening, after a long day of playing, Jacob sat on his bed, reflecting on the journey he had taken since that mysterious dream. He had found peace in knowing that his music had a purpose beyond himself. It wasn't about being the best musician in the world, it was about using his talent to serve others, to heal, and to bring light to those in need. Before drifting off to sleep, he whispered a quiet prayer of thanks. And as he closed his eyes, he felt a familiar warmth wash over him, a reminder that the angel's call had led him exactly where he was meant to be. Sometimes our true purpose in life isn't what we initially expect. We may chase success, recognition, or material achievements, but it's often in serving others and using our gifts to make a difference that we find the deepest fulfillment. Like Jacob, we all have a unique calling, one that can touch lives, heal hearts, and bring hope to the world. Listen to that quiet voice within, and trust that your path will lead you to where you're meant to be.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, no matter what fires we face, faith will always carry us through. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to leave a comment. Subscribe for more stories that inspire and uplift. This is Echoes of Faith, where every story brings hope. If today's story moved you, Be sure to discover more heartfelt journeys in the Echoes of Faith series and uplift your spirit. Don't miss out on the next chapter. There's always more to uncover.